This woman is extraordinarily woke, as everyone is in Hollywood, but she's woke in a way that's quite deranged.
Movie companies are going to look at her and they're going to say box office poison. And a lot of this is due to her behavior leading up to the film's release.
Minecraft in the United States in one weekend made more money than Snow White has made globally after 3 weekends.
Why on earth would a studio cast an actor who not only shows open disdain for the very essence of a timeless fairy tale but seems intent on dismantling its core themes? When the live-action Snow White remake was first announced, waves of excitement rippled through generations of Disney fans who had grown up enchanted by the animated classic. The prospect of seeing this beloved story reimagined with modern technology and fresh talent sparked anticipation across age groups. Yet, almost as quickly as the excitement built, a storm began to brew. The lead performer, tasked with bringing Snow White to life, started voicing her discontent with the original narrative in interviews and public appearances. Her dismissive remarks about the cherished tale's central themes like innocence, true love, and optimism, left fans unsettled. Instead of celebrating the magic that made the original so iconic, she seemed determined to critique it, framing it as outdated or simplistic. This disconnect between the performer's attitude and the audience's expectations created a palpable tension, setting the stage for what would become one of the most controversial adaptations in recent memory.
Well, like me, who watched Disney princess movies when the world was okay and it was acceptable for us to dream about being a princess as a woman and meeting a handsome prince. But oh no, these big bad feminists now are telling us that's ridiculous. How dare you want to meet a handsome prince?
From the very beginning, a palpable sense of unease began to take hold around this prominent performer who had been entrusted with the iconic role of Snow White. Rather than embracing the opportunity to step into the shoes of one of Disney's most beloved characters, a figure synonymous with enchantment, nostalgia, and youthful innocence, she took a markedly different approach. In multiple interviews leading up to the film's release, she openly dismissed the original tale as outdated and overly simplistic, almost as if she viewed it as a relic unworthy of reverence. Her critiques weren't limited to casual observations. They were sharp and pointed, targeting some of the story's most cherished themes, such as true love, kindness, and the power of dreams. Instead of celebrating what made the fairy tale timeless for generations, her commentary came across as an outright dismantling of its essence. She didn't stop at questioning the relevance of these elements in today's world. She actively portrayed them as problematic or even regressive. This wasn't merely a single offhand remark or misinterpreted statement. It was a recurring theme throughout her media appearances. Each interview seemed to reinforce the same dismissive tone, creating a cumulative effect that left many fans feeling alienated. For those who grew up watching Snow White and dreaming about being swept away by a handsome prince or finding magic in everyday life, her words felt like a personal affront. It was hard not to interpret her stance as condescending, as though she believed anyone who still held affection for the classic narrative was naive or out of touch. The disconnect between her perspective and the audience's emotional connection to the material only deepened the divide, setting the stage for growing controversy long before the film ever hit theaters.
And be swept off of your feet and live happily ever after. No, you should want to be the prince. You should want to go out and fight the bad guys with a sword. And I'm like, I don't really want to do that.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be, and the leader that her late father told her that she could be if she was fearless, fair, brave, and true. And so it's just a really incredible story for, I think, young people everywhere to see themselves in.
Snow White is running for president.
I'm launching my campaign.
As word spread about the performer's dismissive attitude toward the original Snow White narrative, forums, comment sections, and even mainstream entertainment news outlets buzzed with growing discontent. The controversy quickly escalated beyond niche circles, capturing the attention of broader audiences who felt personally connected to the classic tale. Candace Owens, a well-known cultural commentator recognized for her sharp and unfiltered critiques, entered the fray with a scathing rebuke of the performer's approach. Owens didn't hold back, calling out what she perceived as sheer arrogance on the part of the lead actress. She argued that by agreeing to take on such an iconic role, the performer had implicitly signed up to honor its legacy, not tear it down. According to Owens, updating a beloved classic doesn't necessitate a scorched earth strategy where the original essence is completely discarded. Instead, thoughtful adaptations should preserve the core values that made the story timeless while carefully integrating updates suited for contemporary audiences. Her pointed remarks resonated with many fans who shared similar frustrations. Owens emphasized that reimagining a cherished narrative isn't about erasing its heart, but rather enhancing it in ways that respect both tradition and progress. Yet, the more the lead performer spoke out against the foundational themes of the fairy tale, criticizing everything from its romantic elements to its portrayal of heroism, the more alienated longtime admirers of Snow White felt. This disconnect only fueled further backlash, creating a ripple effect across social media platforms and beyond. Parents, in particular, expressed hesitation about introducing their children to this new adaptation, fearing that the star at its center seemed openly hostile toward the very qualities that made the original so wholesome and enchanting. As a result, any positive pre-release buzz was effectively drowned out by waves of criticism, leaving the film's prospects increasingly uncertain before it had even hit theaters. Behind the scenes, chaos unfolded in ways that no one could have anticipated. Rumors swirled about drastic alterations to beloved characters, leaving fans and industry insiders alike uneasy. These changes weren't just minor tweaks. Entire roles were reportedly rewritten or reimagined, stripping away key elements that had made these characters iconic for generations. The backlash was immediate, with longtime admirers of the original story taking to social media and forums to voice their concerns. Performers who had been slated for these iconic roles expressed disappointment, some even airing their grievances publicly. For many actors, this wasn't just a missed opportunity, it was a career-altering loss, as they had hoped to be part of something monumental, a modern retelling of a timeless classic. The production delays only added fuel to the fire. Extensive reshoots became a recurring theme, further complicating an already fraught process. Sources close to the project hinted at frantic studio leadership scrambling to salvage what should have been a guaranteed hit. It was clear that tensions were running high, with creative differences and logistical challenges creating bottlenecks at every turn. Every public remark from the lead performer seemed to pour more gasoline on the flames, reigniting fresh rounds of criticism each time she spoke. Her tone often came across as dismissive of the source material, which painted a picture far removed from the loving nods and nostalgic reverence audiences expected from such a project. This growing disconnect between the filmmakers and the audience left many wondering if the film could ever live up to its storied legacy. As reshoots dragged on and costs mounted, whispers of discontent spread not only among cast and crew but also within the studio itself. Executives reportedly questioned whether they had made a grave error in entrusting such a pivotal role to someone whose vision seemed so misaligned with the heart of the story. Meanwhile, the constant turmoil behind the scenes began seeping into public consciousness, eroding confidence in the film's ability to deliver the magic viewers craved. What was meant to be a celebration of a cherished tale had devolved into a cautionary tale of how ambition, poor planning, and conflicting visions can derail even the most promising projects. Predictably, opening weekend saw significantly smaller crowds than anticipated, with theaters reporting turnout that was a mere fraction of what similar Disney remakes had achieved in the past. Critics and fans alike found the end product lacking enchantment, as though the filmmakers had stripped away the very magic that made the original story so beloved. Reviewers were particularly harsh on the lead's performance, citing emotional hollowness that left audiences disconnected from her portrayal of Snow White. Many noted that her well-documented disdain for the classic tale seemed to seep into her acting, making it difficult for viewers to feel any genuine warmth or connection. The absence of certain beloved elements, like the charming interactions with the dwarfs or the sense of timeless innocence, only highlighted how far the film had veered from the original charm. Fans expressed disappointment, saying the movie felt more like a lecture on modern values than an homage to a cherished fairy tale. Ultimately, ticket sales remained low, and audience goodwill was scarce, with many families opting to skip the theater altogether. Word of mouth, crucial for family movies, never took off amidst months of pre-release controversies. Instead, negative buzz spread rapidly online, discouraging even curious viewers from giving the film a chance. Social media was flooded with comments criticizing not just the movie itself, but also the tone set by its lead star long before the film hit theaters. As a result, what could have been a major cinematic event fizzled out almost immediately, leaving both critics and casual viewers underwhelmed and disengaged. This debacle serves as a cautionary tale for both performers and studios alike. A performer hired to lead a beloved classic carries a significant responsibility, not only to bring their own interpretation to the role, but also to honor the roots of the story that made it iconic in the first place. Failing to strike that delicate balance between innovation and respect can lead to alienation, leaving fans feeling disconnected from the very narrative they once cherished. Candace Owens, among others, reiterated that airing personal convictions in a manner perceived as disrespectful or dismissive can severely undermine an entire production's prospects. Her critiques highlighted how such behavior doesn't just reflect on the individual, but can ripple through every aspect of the film's reception. Industry insiders have since concluded that much of the negative buzz surrounding this project could have been mitigated if the lead had tempered her remarks with even a modest appreciation for the original material. It's not about stifling creativity or avoiding modernization altogether. Rather, it's about finding ways to express new ideas while still acknowledging what made the story timeless. For studios, this incident underscores the need to reassess promotional strategies and talent selection processes when handling roles anchored in well-loved source material. Casting decisions must consider not only an actor's skill set, but also their ability to resonate with the core audience, especially when tackling stories steeped in nostalgia. Ultimately, this fiasco reinforces the importance of humility and respect when reviving cherished tales, qualities that ensure harmony between honoring the past and embracing progress. In the end, the fiasco stands as a stark reminder of the hazards of arrogance and disregard for audience sentiment. The target demographic craved warmth, optimism, and fantasy, not lectures on perceived flaws. These timeless elements are what made the original story resonate with generations, offering an escape into a world where dreams felt attainable and love conquered all. Yet, instead of celebrating these universal themes, the production seemed intent on dismantling them piece by piece, alienating the very audience it sought to attract. As the dust settles, one thing remains abundantly clear. Respect for timeless qualities isn't just a nicety, it's a necessity when reimagining stories that hold a special place in people's hearts. Such reverence ensures that the delicate balance between honoring tradition and embracing progress is maintained, preserving harmony between the beloved past and an open-minded present. For everyone who once held this fairy tale dear, let this be a poignant lesson learned, a lesson that underscores the importance of humility, respect, and understanding when entrusted with the legacy of cherished narratives. After all, while updating classics for modern audiences is a commendable endeavor, losing sight of what made those stories magical in the first place risks turning admiration into disillusionment, leaving both creators and viewers adrift in a sea of missed opportunities.